to introduce yourself to our audience? Hi, everybody. I'm Daniela Rabbani with Mom Curious. And also, by the way, Laura Luchetti's here. Yay!
IRL.
Our special
I'm
guest.
Pamela Watson.
Hey, Pamela.
Hi. Celebrity fashion stylist, costume designer, on-air fashion commentary person, whatever. Mom, foodie, wine connoisseur. You know, all of those things at all.
And tall. Yeah. I'm so taken with your, like, you're so sparkly. Like, the moment you walked in, you have such a big, sparkly aura, personality.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm also really amazed. I know that you were telling me a little bit about your son and some of the challenges you're going through now, but you have 2 kids, 20 and 11, and you've been able to sustain yourself and build a pretty beautiful creative career in fashion.
Yeah, thank God.
Hey, brava.
Hey, it's not by myself though. It comes with the support system. Like, you know, my husband and my mother and the love of an au pair.
Really?
We did au pairing for the second one when he came along. I was like, oh no, I'm not struggling. I'm not beating my head against the wall.
Yeah.
You're going to get rid of that man cave and make me a bedroom because I'm going to get me an au pair. And
Tell me more about that.
that.
Oh my gosh, I need to know everything about an au pair. It is my dream.
Yeah. I mean, and it's accessible. I think most people think that it's not. I mean, it's accessible. They are young people who are looking to come over to the U.S. and get an experience, and you're looking for childcare. So, I mean, it really is almost like dating on Tinder. So, like, you have to read the profiles, read between the lines. What are they really saying? You know, are you really here because you're looking for a husband, or do you really love children? Like, and then you interview them, and, you know, you get some good ones and you get some bad ones. And, you know, the bad ones interrupt your schedule, your life, the kid's life. So you really do try your best to eke out the rotten apples as quickly as you can.
Yeah.
But the upside of it is you get someone who is flexible to your schedule, which I need as a costume designer or fashion stylist. It's, there's no 9 to 5 here. And, you know, it's not Monday through Friday. Yes. So I needed somebody who's flexible. So I heard all of the get a college student. They don't have the wherewithal, the staying power, the responsibility, and also their schedule is kind of finite for school reasons, for the classes. So if my schedule goes up and down and they can't, I'm stuck. Right.
Also, you want to like hang out with your kid when you can hang out with your kid.
Yeah. So if I want to change my schedule around, it will be a problem. Or maybe it's a snowstorm and now they can't make it to you. So your person is in-house. And I loved that. They live with you. It's a good and a bad. They live with you, and then you always have someone, and it's like 60, how many hours? I think we get 60 hours a week, I think.
Great.
And I mean, it was nominal. It was like $200 a week.
No way.
I mean, obviously you have to pay the agency fee, which is kind of where it kind of gets you a little sticky. But payment plans, like they have it for everyone. You can pay it all at once, get a 5% discount.
And you live with them, so you know, like, this is a trustworthy person.
Or you hope.
And if they're not, you can
figure it out eventually. Right? You know, they're no dummies. They know what they're there supposedly to look like and to do. Eventually, once you find that they get with friends or they're on their social side of things, you'll start to learn, because other people in our community also had au pairs. So then they all start to cluster. And then the neighbors will tell you, you'll hear it, you know, oh, your girls went out and I heard yours stayed behind to
You know
go.
what? I have a neighbor, and thank God for real neighbors who care about your kids. I was walking home and I gave myself a second to breathe. I had a babysitter with one kid and my mom with another, and I sort of thought, you know what? I'm not going to stick around. I'm going to go on a walk. And a neighbor comes up to me and goes, "Hey, I just saw Paz with a new babysitter." I said, "Yeah." She goes, "No, you got to go home now." I was like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "I don't want to scare you. Like, it's okay." But she was just walking in front. Paz is 3. She's little. I've seen her with other babysitters. This is not the one. Can you imagine?
You mean she wasn't holding her hand
She
walking
wasn't
down the
holding her hand.
street?
She wasn't talking to her. She was just right. She was in front of her on a busy street in Brooklyn. And my friend from the neighborhood had an eye out for me.
Hey, Brooklyn, that's where I'm born and raised.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what you need, right? You need people who are going to put eyes and ears. Sometimes you catch them. Like I had one au pair. She I took a while to babysit her with the kids. Sent them out for the day to play, and my kid came home screaming with the older one carrying the little one. His mouth is full of blood,
Ugh.
screaming at the top of his lungs, and she's trailing behind. I'm looking at her like, first of all, what's going on? Second of all, come to find out, she lets the toddler ride his bike downhill, not beside him. So the cracks in New York streets. So he hits a bump. Over he goes.
Yeah.
And it's the older kid that grabs him and runs home. She doesn't pick him up. She doesn't,
Wow.
So yeah, she was really upset when I yelled at her. I was like, "What are you thinking?" And she locked herself in the room.
Right. You know what's really interesting is that the conversation around childcare started because I was congratulating you on a really magnificent career, like a meaningful, amazing career.
Yeah.
And 2 children.
Yeah.
And a husband.
Yeah.
And the honest answer of a mother of 20 years is I have support.
Correct.
Which is different than I love every single guest that has ever come on this show, really. But it takes 20 years to look another woman in the eye and say, baby, the only way to do it is with a babysitter. And sometimes they come home with a bloody mouth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's the payoff. Like, it's like, we need schools. We need babysitters. We need au pairs. We need grandparents. That's the only way to build a career.
Programs.
We need after school programs.
We need all of these things to help us as the parents continue to support these kids, because it's not cheap.
It's the opposite of cheap.
Complete opposite of cheap.
And also, you know what else is the opposite of cheap is like you having never pursued your career, because the amount of therapy that it takes to make up for not living your life.
Or to feel guilt for the things that I felt a lot of guilt for my first child, because I was so heavily in my career. I was flying all over the place with clients in the music industry, video here, album cover here, award show there. I had the help, but I had a lot of guilt.
And you didn't feel that with the second one, did you?
No, because the industry had changed. So I wasn't traveling like I used to. And I also knew how to maneuver it a little bit better.
That's right.
I had 7 years difference between, was it 7?
9, I think.
9, thank you.
Right, 11
I'm
and
like,
20?
it's me and my sister is 7. So I'm the baby.
I'm 7 years younger than my sister also. And 10 years younger than my brother.
And 9 years older than my brother.
Ah! How is that age gap between your kids? Are they close?
They were. I feel like now I've had 2 single kids.
Yeah, I felt like I don't know how you felt being 7 years younger than your
I felt alone.
Sister, but you felt alone. I felt alone.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that apparently when a child is 7 or more years younger than their sibling, they think of their sibling as another parent. No?
Nah, I didn't think of my sister. Hi, Sonia. I didn't think of her that way. No, she wasn't anyone. We didn't like each other.
Oh, okay.
She thought I was a tattletale. I thought she was a bully.
Oh.
Like, we just did not get along.
Well, you were tattletaling on her being a bully.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because she probably did so many things to me and I told, but now we've been, as we've gotten older, she's my best friend. Like, wow. She's my best friend. I can call on her for anything. So, I mean, I hope, with boys, they're different. I almost so get why men are the way they are.
Because you know them intimately now.
Because they literally are born that way.
Like what way? Tell me more.
Like the Mars, the Venus, like they are very different beings. So just seeing the quirks in my sons that I don't get. Most of the times you meet a guy and you're dating him or you marry him and you go, what was your mother? Like, how did she not? And now I can say, it's not us. It's not us.
You know what? I really appreciate that so much because, we blame ourselves for everything. And society society blames mothers for everything.
They do.
I saw some crazy podcast talking about how like it's single mothers' fault that children of single mothers get in trouble. Excuse me.
Yeah, it's not our fault.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
It
what
is
about
not our
the
fault.
father who's just not
Exactly.
there?
Of
She's doing the
course.
best she can.
Oh my
No,
God.
but men are just, they're made different. Like, I really understand it now.
Yeah.
And
From the beginning.
From the jump.
Yeah. There was another guest today whose child is in whose son is in his teens, and I was like, "How's it going?" She's like, "It's terrible."
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love my babies.
Of course,
I love them with all of their, differences, but and they say boys love their mother till eternity. So I'm hoping. But yeah, I mean, they are very different. And the drive, I guess, because as a female, I have a certain level of drive, and I see it in friends who have daughters. Like, those girls are on it. And then boys are a little bit like, yeah.
Oh my God, they're more chill?
I'll get to it. I'll get to it, Ma. Wow. And it's just kind of like I'm such a type A person, so that we're battling all the time. And, I've come to understand some of this, I just have to let it go.
Yeah.
If you want to preserve the relationship, some of it you just kind of have to just give it to who you believe in. Mm-hmm. I throw it up. And I was like, I'm handing it to you.
Too big for me.
Yeah. I mean, you do the best you can, and then you let go.
I was thinking about you saying that you had mom guilt, which is like the most
horrible.
It is horrible.
It is.
It's like I go right, I feel shitty. I go left, I feel shitty. Yeah. I go straight, shitty. Shit. Yeah. I don't know if it's societal. I don't know what it is, but it's so interesting that you said, like, when your first son was little, you weren't around because of work, but now you're so invested in him, and it's like, we put so much onus on the mom in the beginning, the years of these children's lives. And it turns out like there are babies literally forever.
No, for sure. But even when he was tiny and I was traveling, I was managing what was going on at my house.
Yes, you
from
were.
afar.
Of course you were.
I had my schedule. So-and-so is supposed to be here, there. Is the baby picked up? Is this been done? Like, so I wasn't absent. I was just physically not there. But to me, I felt like to him, I worried that, he sees grandma. He sees the au pair. He sees daddy. Where's mommy?
Yeah.
So... And then he had special needs. And then we found out, at age 3 that there were things. So, then you start thinking, what did I do?
What did I do? That's what we always think.
For years.
For
me to talk about this and not be in tears, I know I've come a long way.
I'm so proud of you. I'm in awe of you.
Thank you.
I really am in awe of you. And also the fact that you're sharing it.
Well, because no one shared with me. I learned all of this, even just fighting with the Board of Education on his, schooling, things like that. We had to sue our school district because we weren't getting the kind of support for him that I felt he needed. It was just, I wish I had more knowledge prior, as opposed to learning by fire.
Yeah.
They depend on, most of the system depends on you being ignorant and emotional. So then you'll fall on their words if they say it confidently enough. Yeah. And so, I just kind of, when it doesn't make sense to me, I'm a bucket until it makes sense. So I feel like we've been through up and down. Bryce has been to several schools. Hell, one of them was so expensive, I didn't know how we were going to pay for it.
But that's why you were gone. Mommy! That's why you were gone on those fucking planes and photo shoots. You had to pay for school. Mm-hmm. You had to pay for the psych evaluation. Mm-hmm. You had to pay for your own therapy to like deal with the stuff.
Yeah, but it's also the thing to say for people who don't have that, they still can get the help, right? So they just have to know to push and to make sure that you don't have to be a celebrity fashion stylist and have a good bank account, or a father who's a Cisco engineer and be able to, you can have this, like those kids still need it too. So, it's about fighting for all of the kids, which is kind of like what I started doing when my kid was in school. I was like, it's not right for mine, just like it's not right for the rest of those that are in the classroom. If their parent doesn't have the ability or the knowledge to stand in front of you and tell you you have to do this, I'm gonna do it for them. So yeah, it's just kind of a little bit like you do for you, but you know that it should trickle down to other people as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What did he need, or what do they need? If it's not specifically your son, like what do children with, learning differences need in these
Well,
schools?
for me, I felt like I didn't trust the school telling me they're evaluating them because they're only going to work off of what they feel their budget can handle.
Oh, wow.
I felt like I can't trust what you're telling me is the full story because it was so convenient that what you say he needed was just within the realms of what you could do. So I would go and have it done separately, which it would piss them off because they have to go by that.
Yes.
So
Different evaluations, you
a
mean?
different evaluation, someone who is, neutral, have, no hand in either bucket, not being paid by the Board of Education. I want someone who can give me a real diagnosis with no nickel in the quarter. You get what I
Yes, I
mean?
do, of course.
So a quarter in the nickel. I
I
don't
don't
have a
know.
nickel. I don't have a nickel in the quarter. I was right. Yes.
Okay. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like
I get
so
it.
it was important to have that, and then I'd slide that across the table and be like, that's the evaluation we're going to go off of. You can flip to the summary. And so if they didn't have it within their budget or their abilities, they'd have to do it outsource, and that means more money. So I mean, my taxes are my taxes, so put it to work to where I
Wow.
need it.
Thank
Yeah.
you for this.
Yeah.
Really, thank you. You know, my kids go to a great public school. I'm sure yours did too,
It
or
was
do.
okay. Mount Vernon I was in Westchester. I moved up to
Okay.
Westchester after my oldest was a little bit older, and it was time. My husband, I wanted to buy,
Yeah, girl.
and I found a beautiful high-rise condo in Dumbo, overlooking the Empire State Building. Everything was gorgeous till he saw the price tag, and he
Yeah.
was like, "You're going to Westchester."
Not as gorgeous. Although Westchester is really pretty.
It's nice, but
Yeah.
it's not. I'm a New Yorker. I'm a Brooklyn girl through and through. I
Yeah.
wanted that, sleek lifestyle. And he was like, "You're going, let's go." So I went kicking and screaming, but we made a home of it. I enjoy being there.
I just went to a country club in Westchester and it
Which
was
one?
very cute. I don't know.
Oh,
What was
okay.
it called? It was very nice. There was a pool. At some point, they were like, they took me aside and they were like, "Oh, are you staying for dinner tonight? We'll bring some crafts for the children." I was like, "What is happening
Oh,
here?"
you guys have that out here.
No, we do not.
There's no country clubs in the Hamptons?
Oh, in the Hamptons, sure. I mean,
Huh?
Not,
I
not really.
no, but not for
No,
me. I
we
mean,
do.
I don't. I'm not a part of a country club in the Hamptons. I'm sure. I visited a friend's country club in the Hamptons once, and I felt afraid. I felt like there were a lot of rules. In Westchester, however, they were like so accommodating.
Hmm.
It's very family friendly. I'm just
Yes.
saying pros and cons.
True.
But the public school there was just
It was
okay.
okay.
It was
It
okay.
was just okay. For what they say, Westchester, you pay all these taxes and you get great schools. It depends on which county you're in. They're all not made equal. So Mount Vernon, where it's predominantly people of color,
Mm-hmm.
you don't find that the school systems are as great as maybe Pelham,
Okay.
right? Where there's like $1 million homes is the average. So it's working class communities to, more than 1%.
Yes.
It's very different.
Yes.
But overall, there's there's good and there's okay. And
Yeah.
then there's bad, just like anywhere else, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening with your son? You said he just got a final
graduated.
diagnosis recently.
Oh yeah. A friend of mine I met a friend through a friend, and she was a pediatric neuropsychologist. And I told her what was going on. She was like, "Well, most kids of color don't get a diagnosis by a title."
Why?
Because I never had one. Been and out of, he'd been going and getting evaluated since he was 3. But then no one could ever really give me a title, like, other than ADHD.
What is it? What is him having to do with being of color? What
I
does that
have
have
no
anything to do
idea,
with
but
it?
that's what she said. Because it was like, as opposed to being able, why was it until she gave him his evaluation that I say neurocognitive delay?
Right.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know
But you knew
why.
as his mother something's
I
up.
knew that he had it. I mean, I knew that he was considered special needs and he had comprehension issues, but it was as vague as that.
Mhm.
There was never anything to really pinpoint exactly what is the title of what he has. Is it dyslexia? Is it, is it autism? Is it what is the other one that I thought he might have? Um, it starts with an A.
Asperger's,
Asperger.
which is part of the autism spectrum.
It
But
is.
so is ADHD, isn't it?
I don't think so. Or maybe it's
Maybe.
a part of it, but they would never diagnose him with autism. They said he's below what the range is. So he was at this gray area that he's not autistic, so he doesn't get those kind of services that would be given, but he's under that, but he's not, he's in a gray area. So it was almost like anything he did, we had to just pay out of pocket. So thankfully, my husband had more of a steady kind of a corporate job.
Yeah.
I'm a gig worker, is what we call us, right? So
Me too.
it's so disrespectful.
A gig worker, a freelancer.
Freelancer is what I'm used to. But I mean, at the end of the day, those days of growing up and saying, "Oh, I'll eat an apple, I'll be fine." That young girl, it's like, "Give me an apple. I don't need health insurance." What is that?
No, literally.
Literally.
No,
I'm not
actually,
lying.
she's giggling. We have Laura over here giggling.
Literally.
No, it's like a literal thing.
Give me an apple. I'm good.
I'm like, I don't need to eat. I'll do
gonna stay this way
voice
forever.
Yeah, I'll do a voiceover gig, and they'll feed me some coffee, and we'll call that lunch.
We're good. Yeah, but eventually youth, it runs from us, and we end up having to figure this thing out. We think about pensions all of a sudden, and retirements and stuff like that.
And high rises in Dumbo. We think about it.
I will always think of that.
There's still time.
I know there is.
Okay.
Oh, don't you forget. Don't you forget. I know I'm going to get it one day.
I know you are.
Get these kids out my house. But yeah, I think Bryce is, he's a sweetheart and he's excited to be an adult. It's just, he's just got to slow his britches a little bit. So
yeah. I guess you were telling me that, that that it almost gets harder when they're older, because like you're not as you can't be around all the time.
You can't really stop him. Like, he's 20. I mean, how many times I can't run in front of the door and say, "I forbid you to go out with these guys. They're jackasses."
Yeah.
And he'll go, "Well, I want to go."
Right.
And I'm going.
Right.
And then, what am I supposed to do? I can't put you on punishment and send you to your room. So yeah, it's a whole nother world that I'm just not used to, because I'm used to being able to say, "Because I said so."
Right.
That doesn't work anymore.
I know. I have to say though that like I really do think that our kids have it better off than than we did. Like you're such an in tune mother. Like you've advocated for him his whole life. Like we have to know that some of it has landed on him, that he knows that he can come to you.
We would pray. I mean, that's what our parents said. I mean, I swear my mother thought I was a streetwalker.
Like, my mother definitely thought I was a bad kid.
She was like, "You're going to corners." Like, I was like, "No, I'm not. Just a little bit." No.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just like a healthy amount.
What is healthy amount?
I don't know, but it felt healthy.
It felt healthy. Well, my mother held me really tight. She's a Southern woman, had very old traditional ways, and we would follow it. And then as soon as I could break free from her, I was like, lost it. But, it does. It reels back in. And I'm like, look,
I'm okay.
Look, I'm a pillar of the community now.
You
look at that. I'm really just jiving. But I'm just saying, like, you come back. So it all drips in.
I think the hope is that if they're ever in trouble, they feel comfortable enough to call us.
That's the hope. Yeah.
Like just that they can call us.
Yeah. The hope is that they don't have to wait till they're in trouble. I'd rather you tell me the truth beforehand and stop worrying about being in trouble with me.
Right.
And just telling me the truth. Because my son has set me up a couple of times with the lies. And, you want to go put your cape on and your sword and you want to battle the dragon for them. And then you find out they were telling you a lie in the first place. So for me, honesty is a big thing. Even in a relationship, with a man. Or it just liars is my thing.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
So you lie to me, I'm good on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
So
it's so hard because my kids are really little, and when they lie to me, I feel so angry. And they're so little, right? Like you're like thinking about little kid.
little
You're like,
lies. Those are cute. But yes, nip it in the bud. No
I
kidding.
don't know how. How do you nip it in the bud? What kind of advice would you give?
No, you have really good conversations. Like I think with them, and then there's also repercussions, right? When you told a lie, there's a punishment to be had. So what is that? Something that you really like has to go away because of what you did. And then we explain it in a sense so that you understand and you follow through. Because if you don't follow through,
Oh, yeah.
you are setting yourself up from now until eternity to
Yeah.
never really be able to put your foot down and they believe you.
Do you feel like the second time around is easier?
Yeah.
Well, you were saying with the au pair for sure.
Well, not even just so that. Just in my kids were very different. My youngest is a smart aleck. Like because of all I went through with the first one, I'm looking for everything.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking at everything to see, do you have any delays? Is there something going on? So I was really, really hypersensitive to everything he was doing. And I realized that he was really super smart. And so I put him in school at 2. And, it naturally comes to him. He doesn't really even try. So he starts, 6th grade in September, and he's going to a very prestigious private school in
Congratulations.
Westchester, and I'm very, very proud of him. And he's like, I don't like school. I mean, I'm good at it, but I don't like it. That's what he says. So I have very much, I have 2 kids on 2 different ends of not one is just doesn't have to work at it and the other one does.
Yeah,
right. So it's just kind of, you just kind of have to learn how to adjust for both of them and be enough of a mom for both. Right. So
and to yourself, right?
well, that part I'm learning that now.
Tell me all about
The
it.
self-care, like putting me first. So when I turned 50,
Oh my God, you're 50?
Get out.
Should I not have said that? Sorry.
No,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
like, y'all are funny. No, I'm 52.
You're so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. But when I turned 50, a lot of things changed for me. Like a light went on. And I was like, yeah, it's going to be me doing me. So, yeah, I'm in the midst of starting afresh in very many ways.
Really?
Yeah, I'm starting afresh. So, I'm always going to be a mom, but I won't always be a wife.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it's starting over. And I'm excited and scared at the same time. But, as a mom, I needed to pull my kids in and finally just talk to them about it and hope that they would forgive me.
Yeah. I don't know. I think, my parents didn't get along, and I begged them to get divorced.
I asked my mom to leave too.
You did?
Yeah, and she did.
I've thanked my mom for leaving before. My parents divorced when I was 4, and I was like, the idea of the 2 of you being in a house together trying to raise me is like laughable.
I know you didn't say that at 4.
Oh, I said it like probably at 6. They were divorced at 4. But like, I was very much like, you are 2 people that are too fiery to be in the same house together. Like, get it together. It was like 2 lions trying to raise a bear. Like a bear cub that's like, guys, come on.
Yeah. But it's for me also was about showing my kids that it doesn't end, right? Our relationship will always be. Their dad is an amazing person. However, if you ever get into a relationship and you grow apart, I don't want you to feel like you have to stay in it to and then live an unhappy life for the benefit of others. Like my kids are not going to maybe understand it right away, but I hope what they see is a different parent individually, happier.
Amen.
Yeah, and maybe we can all go on vacation together still. Like I don't hate him. He's just not enough husband for me.
That's right.
That's it. But he's a good dad and, a good person overall. So I'm hoping that we can get to a place where we can still be a blended family together.
I love that.
Yeah, but I had to start putting that. I had to do it. And I promised myself because I'm losing friends already.
Why?
Meaning death.
No.
Yeah. And so it's just kind of like, oh no, it could be any day. So I'm going to live today like it's my last, you know? So yeah, we all need to do that. So I'm hoping my kids just see the courage in that versus, you know, the the American family, you know, the picket fence. We got the fence, the dogs. We have all of that. But yeah, I just want them to see more love.
You know, it's so funny because I think to myself, we 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 think of things in such extremes. Like they do have the picket fence and the dogs and the brother and the mom and dad who are together. Like just because it's not only that it changes doesn't take away that it existed. Like
Correct.
I don't know if you remember like in the beginning of motherhood when they were like exclusively breastfeed, and it's like, well, if I like breastfeed a little and I formula feed a little, I'm still breastfeeding.
Yeah, there's a lot of shame in that.
There's so much shame in it, and
They
it's like
shouldn't.
just because it's not all the picket white fence and the parents together doesn't take away that existed.
Mm-hmm.
That was a thing in their childhood.
Mm-hmm.
It does, it doesn't. It's not the whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
but it was there.
Yeah.
We tried it.
No, I tried it too. Actually, I didn't. I thought I was dying when I first had my breast engorged in the hospital. I woke up and was like pressing that button and was like, oh my God, something's
I
wrong.
know.
And the nurse came in and she walked in, she looked at me, she walked back out, didn't say a word. I was like, what is wrong with her? What is wrong? And sure enough, she came in with a pump and they had to teach me how to do it. But yeah, I didn't enjoy it at first. I actually I think it started postpartum for me a little bit because I kind of didn't feel like this empowered woman that I was, this career woman. Now all of a sudden I feel like I'm a cow with teats and someone feeding off of me. And I was
Yeah.
like, this is what I've resulted. Like, this is what I
Yeah,
am
it's like
now.
really, it's really a
It's
humbling
a
experience.
mental fuck. I will
Yeah,
tell you
yeah,
that. It really is.
yeah.
And no one can help you. So it would be in the middle of the night, you're so tired and you're exhausted, and this baby is crying for you, and no one can help you. So it was like my husband would get up, call himself being supportive, but you're standing there staring at me. So then it would turn into me yelling at you.
I know.
Because then I'm
know.
feeling like, now I'm a spectacle?
I
Like,
know.
get away. Like, so he didn't know what to do. Like, poor thing. But it should be more conversation about that in the beginning for people who are having babies, to tell them some of these emotions are what's going to happen.
Totally.
And this is what may happen. If you feel like two rocks have fell on your chest, this is probably what that was.
know.
And, the baby will bite on you
Yeah.
and chafe you and blah, 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 blah. But then you have those moments where you're looking down at this baby and they look like an angel.
Oh my God, it's like the most gorgeous
It's
experience.
the most-
Also,
It is.
but that's what I'm saying. It's like really deeply uncomfortable, and the most
Satisfying.
profoundly satisfying. It's like it's the white picket fence and this new blended family. It's like
Correct.
it's not one or the other.
Correct. And there's not one way to feel. So the guilt of it all, when you feel like, when you look at that baby sometimes and you're mad at this new change that's happened in your life, and you're just kind of like, I love you, but like all of these things, I'm sleep deprived, I'm tired, my body hurts, I have, stretch marks, like all of these things where, I had to take the belly button ring out of my used to have a ring on my tummy. That baby stretched it out. I've never seen it again. But I mean, then
Still time.
well, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, it's just, motherhood is just a special, but it's not for everybody. I really thought I would just be fine being a godmother.
Oh my gosh! And what happened 20 years ago?
Too many drinks. No, I'm
Oh my
kidding.
God! I mean that's totally, by the way, a valid.
Listen, I'm.
That happens too.
It is clear that, I mean, I don't know how many planned pregnancies there are. A lot, but there are a lot that aren't.
Yeah, it's
You
true.
just go, you go along to get along.
Yeah.
You feel like, I'm all right, I'm old enough, I have somebody who's responsible and wants to do this. Let's go, and you jump into something that you have no idea what you're getting into.
I also think that these two little boys chose you.
Oh, for sure.
Like that's the
Oh,
real.
I hope they don't regret, but
They
yeah.
don't. They don't. You're a very special
Oh,
person.
thank you.
It's just like, there was a choice made, even in those moments. And like, listen, I really believe in a woman's right to choose.
For sure.
And I really also think that those little boys have a right to choose, and they chose you. Do you know what I mean? That my little ones chose me. There were choices made.
This is true.
This
Well,
is true.
Ayurvedically, they say that like let me see if I can get this right. The soul hovers above the garba, or like your physical body, which would be in your mom at that point, or whoever is birthing you, until you're 120, like in 120 days into gestation. And then basically like the imagery is like this little tiny soul is like just trying to be like, what looks cool? Where would I want to go? And then it's like, oop, you, which is like 4 solid choices by these kids. Truly solid choices. If an aura, they say your aura is like 8 feet extended, right? In front and around you. Yours must be 12 to 20.
Yeah.
You can feel your like good energy. I could feel it coming into the building. So
Really?
yes.
Oh.
So like, thank you for sharing that with us, because it is it's magnetic. You can feel it from extremely far away.
Wow. That's
This is the
awesome.
most quiet Laura's been all day. She's just listening to you.
Yeah.
You're special.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful
well,
woman.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
No, this was fun. I don't ever get to talk about being a mom.
Really?
No, I mean, that's not really the conversation. Everyone wants to talk about fashion. You're a fashion stylist. Who are you doing? What you shop? What you're shopping for? What's the trends? How was this show? Blah, blah, blah. And then you're a mom. You know what I mean? You give your bio. It has all of these other wonderful traits and and at the very bottom you'll go, and a mom of 2, and all these other things. So
Meanwhile, you've been working so hard at it.
at both equally is
I know,
hard.
I know.
Right? And I wish they would cut a check for that one. Damn it.
No, we were just talking about how in the fashion industry, that the interns get paid now, and we were all like, I intern for free, you intern for free.
Real jobs.
The first thing I thought, by the way, when we were all
jobs.
gabbing about that, guys, was like, I work really hard as a mom. I don't get paid. But, it's not a job. It's like a soul's calling.
It is a soul's calling. And it's forever. It's for life. Like you just, at the end of the day, as an adult, now I know how much my childhood impacts who I am as an adult.
Yeah.
That I take it so seriously, the decisions I make for them, trying my best to not know that they're loaned to me and not they're mine, right? They're loaned to me. And so I'm trying to pour into them the things that I know, learned, and have been taught through life, and then through my own, lineage. Some things that I hope they'll then do for their family. But yeah, like this is something that's generational. So what I pour into them, it puts so much weight on me sometimes of just always wanting to be a perfectionist, which I kind of am, which is a bad thing to be. It really is not a good thing to be.
We're not talking in goods and bads anymore.
What?
We're not talking in goods and bads anymore. It's not a bad thing to be a perfectionist.
You are
doing
thing.
a great job.
Well, we try, right?
You
and
are
I'm
doing
sure,
a great
thank
job.
You. But you
really are.
You know the inner critic within
Oh
you.
my God, it is so loud. The inner critic.
It's loud. It's raw.
It's mean.
It's nasty. It's hard. It's hard. But if you're always a person that's reflective, which is what I try to be, because honestly, you need to self-correct. If you don't know how to self-correct, you're going to always, you'll never take anyone else's constructive criticism to heart if you can't really look back and reflect and go, okay, there's something about that might have some truth. Let me look into that. And so, people who are that arrogant that can't kind of look inward, then I just feel like they're a lost cause at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the whole idea, is to keep looking back and saying, what could I have done differently? Like when I've yelled, like I've had a bad day and I don't know, people are pissing me off in my house. I come in, the dishes are all over the places, dog hair, no one Swiffered, like I said, just pick a problem. I walk in and it's just kind of like, I'm pissed off. I hate that experience is what they get.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I'm trying to make sure that I give them experience of, oh, mommy's home.
And I'm happy about
and
it.
I'm happy about
I
it.
know. Me
Versus,
too.
oh, shit, you could hear me downstairs. Boom, boom. Like, what the hell? You know, I just, and then I go take a shower and I'm all sad
We feel shame that we've stomped around like that.
yeah, so
because you're so reflective. You know what?
Right.
My daughter, who's going to be 4 next week, she said to me, "Mommy, when am I going to be a grown up?"
Oof.
And I said,
Slow down, baby.
Posy, this is the most important part of your life, your childhood. You're going to be a grown up soon enough. And I really understand that experience where you're like, oh my gosh, my childhood basically is just on repeat all day long. So there's this weight I feel. And we call it perfectionism, but it's also like, wow, I really know how important their childhood is.
Correct.
Like,
Don't you wish you could be a child now with the knowledge that you have now?
kind of, yeah.
I do. I wish I
Actually,
could be.
yeah. I've gone through a lot of therapy, so I would have done a few things differently.
Mm-hmm.
But I really honor that that it's important. That that at least we know that like the stomping, our parents did not know that the stomping around would carry with us for the rest of our lives,
Or
they didn't know.
care.
Do you think they?
Mine didn't care. Mine
But
was
did
like,
they
you're
not
lucky.
know?
I'm working and I'm doing you.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I'm
and you should say
41,
thank you.
And you're welcome. Get
It's
your
some of
shit
that
together.
too. Like,
My mom had big fuck around and find out energy.
I
So
love that.
But like, I'm super grateful.
I love, and it shaped who you are and how you are, right? So
absolutely.
yeah, I mean, good, bad, or indifferent. Like, I just feel like who they are, like my mother doesn't know where her children came from. Like, I am not anything like her. My sister and I are very kind of type A, like a dude kind of thing. And she's very demure. She's I would say soft spoken until she's with us alone. Then she's Mike Tyson or
Nice.
Joe Frazier. Like, I was like, oh, don't get it twisted. Grandma, who's all soft and sweet and make apple pies, she used to thug it out with us at the door if you came in late. You come in at the door and she's standing there and all you hear is pow, So it was just like, we don't condone all of that, but I have no problems with it. That to some point, like I know that woman loves me beyond anything.
Beyond anything.
So, it's just like spare the rod, spoil the child was her idea of, like don't do bad, then you won't have this. And we're like, okay,
Yeah.
do your best. But
yeah,
we
live in a totally different world.
Oh, for sure.
We live in a totally different world. The fact that like you care about the energy you come into your home with.
Yeah.
You,
maybe not. Maybe they felt that way, but just didn't have the words for it because
really?
it wasn't really, that wasn't the culture at the time.
Wasn't the culture.
But I want to feel like it's a human thing and not so much just a culture.
Tell me.
Meaning like as a mother, you want your children to have, happy feelings when they see you.
I know.
They might not have had the words for it because we weren't talking about feelings like that.
No.
But I do believe that they wanted it. But it was, it was other things. Like she sacrificed a lot. She took a part-time job just to make sure she was home for us on half days on Wednesdays. And me, I'll be in the kitchen with her with my, what is that oven with the light bulb?
Oh yeah, like the
easy bake oven.
Easy bake oven.
Good on you, Laura Lucetti.
Wanted one, never got one.
Executive producer for good reason.
I'm about to buy one on eBay and use
really
some 80s dust,
They
cake
really
mix.
Yes.
Love that.
I used to do that on Wednesdays and I came home from school, go in the kitchen with her while she was cooking to make my little easy bake cake. Like, she did try to create these moments for me to be just, you just be a kid. We didn't have video games. We did. Atari came later with the little Frogger and horrible to what they are now, right? But how they were just the best thing ever. If you want to play, you go outside and play. You figure it out. Get some chalk, get a rope,
Find a friend or a bike.
Find a friend, get a bike.
Tree?
I wish it was that way now, a little bit more than it was. Like my 11-year-old, I can't get him out of his room.
Yeah.
I've made it too comfy. It really is a good room.
Did you style it?
I did.
You did it with all of your talents?
I did. It's a really good room. He has the best room in the house, to be quite honest.
Oh, no. You got to move him out of that room.
I know I should.
You got to move into that room.
I'm moving out.
Oh!
You can delete that. No.
See you soon, Dumbo.
Listen, not about that. Okay, so we're wrapping up. Where can we find you? What's up next?
Oh, well, this pending strike has really put a pin in what is coming up next in the TV and film world,
Ditto.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have been doing some pivots. I am creating a fashion program for school to teach fashion styling 101 to students from pre-K to 8. I'm
Wow.
going to do it in levels. So it's all things that will help entrepreneurship, leadership, confidence, those kind of attributes just from learning how to design or show how to coordinate colors, things to that effect. That so I'm hoping that I can pick a couple of schools that would like to do that as an after school program.
Wow.
And also then doing more executive presence styling for people. Anybody who needs a stylist for, C-suite, officers or people who need to upgrade their look.
Beautiful.
I'm going to take on that. So,
We've just produced so much content so quickly for so little money for our talent. I mean,
for sure.
for costume designers also, no?
Oh, yes.
Thank you for saying that because I'm like, I hope we're on the same side here.
No, we are. I feel
terrible.
like we don't get anywhere near our due in what we do and how much we put into it, and they cannot shoot them naked. So, I don't feel like costume designers get enough credit. Even hair and makeup get more accolades for their work.
Really?
I feel, oh, absolutely.
Definitely. And also first one to get cut from a budget. Why do you think I made the pivot?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's absolutely like, thank you for doing it because it's literally, I know it comes from such an absolute deep well of passion and love because it is fucking thankless.
It is
Even though you're
thankless.
like, I did that. That's why that looks the way it does and everyone loves it. Nobody gives a shit.
When
It's awful.
when I was on God Friended Me, I remember seeing a costume designer who I used to work with doing regional Shakespeare theater, and I was like, "Congratulations, you just had a baby. You're on this show." She's like, "Congratulations, you just had a baby. You're on the show." I would leave, and she would be there tailoring away, and then I'd come back for the next episode, and the life was drained out of her. I remember how passionate she was about this job and how exciting it is to be on television. Anyway, I hope things change. But I didn't mean to.
No, your story was thrilling. Was I giving you a face
No,
it wasn't?
I
wanted
just
to
felt
hear-
sorry that it was the case because it was just like she never saw her baby. She
Yeah.
never saw her baby. She was just like sewing so much all the time. And then there was this one guy who wanted to keep his costumes and she would have to like tailor his stuff for the red carpet. And anyway, someone should have. Thankless.
That was the word you want to say right there. Thankless. Because, at the end of the day, we are giving a service. It's a service position.
It's also an art, and that's
That's
very
the
much
lost,
an art.
It
That's
is
lost in translation.
It very much is. And I think not only on the actors, but on the directors, on the producers, on Hollywood altogether.
Not this producer.
Hey, we love that.
And not this actor, by the way, because the costume tells you so much about the character.
Everything. It's
Also, just the way it feels, the way it fits, the way it looks, the way it smells, like where it hits you on your legs. I mean, it tells you everything about
But it
this
helps
character.
the actor
Of course, it does.
create who they are emulating. So I mean, it really is. It's the other side of the pillow, the cool side of the pillow.
Yeah.
It's the other side that helps you, create these characters that you put on TV and film. But yeah, I still love it. God help me. I still do. And I also love the idea of being able to bring new kids in the block, like, pulling up new
Mentoring?
kids, interns who are interested, PAs who have the passion for it, give them a place that they can learn and grow.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Thank you for your work. Thank you for
You're
your mothering. Thank you
welcome.
for your time.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate
Thank you.
it.
You
so
are
much.
a
This was
total
great.
star. Oh my God.
Well, have me back again. We'll talk some more. Any other questions, please feel free to ask. Hit me on the Pamela Watson on Instagram.
Beautiful. Can't wait.
Cool.
Bye, friends. Thank you, as always, for listening to the Mom Curious podcast. My name is Daniela Rabbani. I am your host, and I would love to continue this conversation at Daniela Rabbani on Instagram. And if you'd be so kind to rate and review, share this podcast, I would be just really grateful. Catch you next time, every Tuesday on the Mom Curious podcast, produced by Hoff Studios. You can find them at Hoff Studios on Instagram as well. All right, have a great day.